everybody, thanks for tuning in for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the standard issued from Lowdown Customs rods. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so all of Lowdown Customs rods come with a nice neoprene fabric rod case right there. Really nice for easy for traveling. And as this is a two-piece rod, it comes shipped as such, and so you have to put them together. So out of the box, or out of the bag, I should say, comes with the two pieces, comes with the handle here, and it also comes with the rod blank itself. So as I've talked a little earlier, this is the standard issued rod from Lowdown Customs. Lowdown Customs is the manufacturer or the rod company, and the standard issued is the specific rod that I have here. This rod comes in a lot of different models, all the way from medium heavy and it goes up to even like extra heavy, and they come in various lengths. This one here is the 8-foot heavy, and this is primarily going to be throwing anything between 2 ounces and 7 ounces. And I want to talk a little bit about why I ended up purchasing this setup specifically. So I wanted a rod where I could throw smaller swim baits, but also if I had to, could throw something a little bit heavier too as well. And I feel like a medium heavy just wouldn't be able to handle those 5 or 6 ounce lures. And so I felt that I wasn't really going to throw anything lower than 2 ounces. And if I were to throw anything under 2 ounces, I have other bass tackle that could handle something like that, like my X-Pride heavies and etc. So I really wanted something that could just be a really good dedicated swim bait rod that can handle anything from on the lighter end all the way up to even like 7 ounces. Now the price points on these are fairly steep. They're not cheap at all. They're about $400, and they are on the higher end of swim bait rods. And so if you're looking into one, you can check out the Lowdown Customs, or you can also look into the Leviathans. I actually opted in to go into the Lowdown Customs. I actually watch a lot of Jeffrey the King, and he talks a lot about these rods. He's used a lot of these rods, and I've talked to a lot of some of the guys that live on the West Coast, do a lot of swim bait fishing too as well, and they had shared that Lowdown Customs is a really good rod company. Not to say the Leviathan is not, but they prefer using Lowdown Customs, and so I was like, you know what, I got to, listen. I have to listen. So I ended up getting the Lowdown Customs standard issued rod right here. So as you saw, it comes in 2 pieces right here. You have the EVA handle here that measures in about 16 inches, and you have the rest of the rod right here, and it comes just like this in the actual rod sleeve. I want to talk about how you can put this together, because it's fairly simple, but some people are like, oh man, like it's such an odd thing to do, because people just aren't used to 2-piece rods. So let's talk about it. I'm going to show you real quick how to put this together. So first thing you do is I'm going to unscrew this little cap from the reel seat handle, and just kind of thread this through. This can just kind of rest on its own, not a huge deal, just kind of let that free float. The important thing is you want to take that wax that comes with it, and all the rods come with a little wax. Looks like a piece of chapstick or a little chapstick stick, and you can actually just apply the wax right on here. So if you look closely enough, I actually applied some already on, and because I've been obviously putting this rod, together several times already, so it's already got some wax on there, and you don't want to over wax this part here, but you want to basically just apply some wax on here, and you kind of just want to fit it through, make sure that it has some wax on the inside. I probably did it like 2 or 3 times to make sure the wax is in there good. Then once you're good there, what you want to do is line up your handle and your first guide kind of at a 45 degrees. So you kind of want to slant it a little bit. Then what you want to do is you kind of want to slowly work it in, but then what you want to do is you also want to twist the rod blank so that the first guide is now straight with where the reel seat is. And the reason why you want to do that is because it allows you to get, obviously it allows you to move the rod, and as you move it, you tighten it in, and you get a good estimation of where that guide should be, so you're not guessing. And you can actually put it in just right, and it's actually a lot easier if you just put it in and twist it than just going straight in. And once you're in, you're all good. Just go ahead and tighten that little locking nut there, or the EVA locking nut, and you're all set. So you have the full rod now, and you're all good to go there. So that is how you can actually put the rod together right there. But let's talk about some of the specs, and we're gonna start with the butt of the handle, work all the way up to the tip of the rod. At the bottom here, it does have a little cap there. It seems like a little plastic cap, more like plastic rubbery material. And then you got the little metal end piece right here. And then here is the 16-inch EVA foam that you have on the grip here. Got a little carbon fiber right there. And you have your Fuji reel seat with the exposed blank right there and exposed blank right there. I don't think that would really matter much on a rod like this. Sensitivity is not really, I guess, super important, but it is nice that they shaved a little bit of weight there. Up here, you have two pieces that lock your reel in. You have your first one right here that locks in your reel, and then after that is locked in, you have a second locking nut, which is this EVA, which tightens it down. So it's kind of nice. It's got like a two-stage locking, I guess, nut there to lock your reel in. So you're not getting that, you know, loose. I think it's happened to everybody, or you have to, oh man, you got to tighten it down again after a couple of casts, whatever. So it's got two different locking nuts, which is nice. Moving up to the actual rod blank itself, it has a lot of carbon fiber on it, which is kind of nice. In this first section here, has a nice stamp there, the Lowdown Customs logo, and it kind of spells out the standard issue rod and Lowdown Customs itself. And then moving to the guides, it actually offers some really nice Fuji K Alkanaut guides here. You know, they didn't go cheap on the guides at all, which is awesome. And as you're looking at it, guys, I am not turning the rod at all. So what that means is that it actually starts straight with the reel seat. And as the guides, you know, as you go down the guides, it actually turns, and now your guides are actually going to be at the bottom of the blank. So as you see, this first guides here is normal, like how your line feeds, and it starts to turn, and now you are completely under the rod blank. So a little bit different for a lot of people who are not used to this. I live in Wisconsin, and so there are some musky rod companies that have rods like this, and supposedly it's supposed to help with fighting big fish and etc. I don't know if that really works, but I do know that Lowdown Customs is not the only rod manufacturer that does this. There are other swimbait rod companies that do this too as well. One thing that I also like about this rod is that it is not full epoxy down the entire blank. I cannot tell you guys how much I hate full epoxy rods, and that's because it just adds a lot of unnecessary weight. And so when you have a rod that is 8 foot long and you have these big blanks and these bigger guides, you don't want to have a heavy rod. That just throws off the balance of your rod, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm really happy that Lowdown Customs rods did not full epoxy their entire blank on this rod. So what reel am I throwing on this rod? If you guys saw my other video, you guys already know that I am actually going to be throwing it with the Calcutta Conquest. So I'm going to put that together and show you guys what that looks like. All right, so we have the Calcutta Conquest 300 Monster Drive with the Lowdown Customs standard issued 8-foot heavy. This rod itself is just such a great pair with this reel. I mean, look at where I'm holding this, and it just balances right there. Talk about a really well-balanced rod. It's not tip heavy at all. It just balances really nicely, and it's just a ideal pairing and matchup with these two. So it just balances right well. I'll show you guys again real quick and how awesome this balance is. Let me just get that right. Hold on one second. Right there, and boom, you're good to go. So a really well-balanced rod, and it just palms really well in my hand too as well. One of the things that I didn't want is a overly powered rod with a oversized reel. And I'm going to be throwing anything from 2 to 6 ounces. Might venture off a little bit past 6 if I, dare to, but I feel like most of my swim baits that I've been purchasing and I will be throwing is going to be anywhere between 2 to 5 ounces. Your Clash 9, probably, the Huddlestons, the Depths, slide swimmers, that kind of stuff. Those are probably the lures I'm going to be throwing on here, and this rod I think is going to pair perfectly with this reel. So let me know if you guys have any questions about the Lowdown Custom standard issued rod. If you guys want to know more about the reel, check out my other video. I actually posted a whole video talking about this reel and where I got it from. But if you guys want to know more about the rods, check out the website. You can also get yours from Hooked Up Tackle or go straight to the source at Lowdown Customs Rods. But this is going to be my dedicated swim bait setup right here. This is probably going to be one of very few rods that I probably ever buy for swim baits. Because I just live in Wisconsin and I probably won't be throwing a ton of swim baits out there, most likely just in the spring and in the fall when the fish are very active and chasing some of those bigger profiles. But man, I am excited because this combination right here is just so nice in hand and it balances so well. I mean, I just can't get over how well balanced this setup is. I'm really happy that I went with the 300 size reel, and also I'm really happy that I went with the 8-foot heavy, so I can pretty much cover almost all different types of swim baits for the most part in that I'm going to be throwing in Wisconsin. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, drop a comment below. If you guys have a Load On Customs rods and you guys love it, let me know what you throw on it, what your PB is on that too as well. Very curious. One thing that I could ask you as well is if you guys haven't liked this video yet, make sure you click that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you also subscribe. All of what you guys do in terms of watching, subscribing, helps support the channel, helps me fund cool projects just like this, so I can bring you guys some more videos and content. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button, and we'll make sure to see you guys on the next video.